rim. Running back Omarion Hampton warming up with the rest of the team for the first time this week. Okay, that's great. You see it right there. It says he is going to be wearing a big brace
I'm gonna say
on
this.
his right ankle. Yeah.
That young man is built how you want him to be built to run the football.
He has a
There you
lower
go.
half.
Yeah. Listen, he plans to play. Okay.
Built like a monitor.
Yeah. Let's talk about the quarterbacks in this matchup. All right. Both of them have been at their best against the Blitz this season. Drake May, you too. Drake May and Justin Herbert are top two in the NFL this season.
Hang in there, Hannah.
Okay. Swagoo, help me out here. Help me out here, my love. Can you talk to me about this Chargers defense? How did they slow down Drake May?
I'm going to be serious, Hannah.
Okay.
Everybody want to play today on the show. I'm going to be serious.
Okay.
All right. Here's what has to happen. Here's what has to happen. And RC, stop looking like that, because I almost called you and told you to do this because I really don't have a clue. All I know is that you can never know where Derwin James is if you're Drake May. You can never know where he's coming from. You can never know if he's covering your tight end or he dropping into the zone playing a robber. This is what he has done to tight ends, and we know Hunter Henry is a big part of this offense. And look at Derwin James since 2021, 4.9 yards to tight ends. That is absolutely phenomenal. You look at the rest of the names in there. That is what I'll be watching in this game, because Drake May is playing with so much a sense of ease. He's understanding where pressure is coming from. He knows where everybody is before pre-snap and post-snap. That's him and Josh McDaniels. Derwin James has to be that chess piece, and how they use him is going to be super interesting to me.
Marcus, and to speak to what you're saying, I think back to the Buffalo Bills last matchup with the New England Patriots in that second half when Sean McDermott was mixing up coverages and mixing up pressures.
Coverage, yeah.
And then you look at what Jesse Mentor was able to do to C.J. Stroud from the second quarter on with the pressures, making him get the football out of his hands, turning the football over. I want to see how much he employs Derwin James in disguising and moving to those different things. But I'm excited to watch Justin Herbert play. I've become such a big fan of this young man throughout this season because of the talent, because of the toughness, what he's been able to do with an offense that lost two extremely exceptional tackles. Justin Herbert hasn't gotten the credit he deserves for his individual play based on playoff performances, losing a 24-point lead in Jacksonville, throwing more interceptions in one game last year against Houston than he did the entire season. It's going to be important for him to protect the ball and create big plays for an undermanned team. And if he can do that, he gives this team a great opportunity to advance.
Yeah, those 4 picks, that was brutal. So was the blown lead. RC, though, is on the Chargers, and he is the only one, a man on an island.
Bro, I don't hate that at all.
Appreciate you, buddy.
RC,
yeah, you know what?
Make
I'm
your
just trying to
case
say
real
to you
quick.
guys, I believe in Jesse Mentor. I think there is something to Drake May in his first opportunity to be in these playoffs. And they're so creative defensively. And I believe when you look at the way they can pressure the quarterback, even with 4 with those disguises, they're an extremely underrated front and defense. They can get plays on the ball. I like what the Chargers can do.
Last playoff wins for both teams, 2018. All right.
I don't hate that at all, bro.
Good. That's great. Rams wide receiver, by the way, Davante Adams off the injury report. Good to go against Carolina. This is great. Right? Adams missed the last 3 games of the regular season, suffering a hamstring injury. Other injury news for the Rams, though, don't like this at all. Starting right guard Kevin Dotson is out with an ankle injury. Dan the man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said.
How does I know we're just skipping over stuff, so sorry for the awkward turn and ask. He's the only guy in the NFL to lead the league in touchdown catches with 3 different teams. This is a special person. What does he bring to the table, Adams?
Yeah, I think the reality is we often talk about receivers by themselves and don't really correlate it to the red zone. And that's the impact that he's had on this football team is they're able to weaponize Davante by himself. And it's a big-time challenge for a defense just math-wise. If you want to play one-on-one and maybe commit some other numbers to a Puka or those 3 tight ends or the run game, there's just not a lot of people that can, on a consistent basis, lock him up one-on-one with either that move at the line of scrimmage fade to the corner or that shake and then slant. The other reality is, if you don't feel great about that, and I'll be interested to see if it's J.C. Horn or Mike Jackson matching up in those situations, Do you lean that extra body over there? And then that allows Sean McVay to go, well, we can run the football or we can get into our keeper game. And I think the other thing for this offense that's huge is blocking Derek Brown. You know, with no Kevin Dotson at right guard, that's a significant loss. Derek Brown is one of if not the best run-stopping defensive tackles in football this year. And we do have evidence of defensive tackles in the playoffs ruining football games. And so it sounds small, but when you have a defensive tackle that you can't, on a play-by-play basis, devote just one person to as an offensive perspective, that's a problem. So definitely the Devontae addition's a big deal. They got to make sure that they handle Derek Brown so he doesn't ruin the games.
Yeah, and listen, the Rams are the biggest road playoff favorites since the merger here, all right? So how can the Panthers pull off another upset? How can they do that again to L.A. on their home turf? Mina, give us a game plan.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's what they did last time. They got to turn Matthew Stafford over. That's it. And then offensively, they got to possess the football. And looking back at the game, the last time these two teams played, first of all, they have Robert Hunt now, which is the Rams are missing their starting guard. The Panthers have one. They ran the ball efficiently. They didn't have any explosive runs, but Chuba Hubbard was regularly grinding out 5, 6, 7 yards on the ground. That's how you keep the Rams from getting the football back. And then Bryce has to hit on a few shot plays downfield. I would say, looking at these teams, Dan, the only matchup advantage in Carolina has that I feel good about is I like their receivers against the Rams' corners.
Really?
Tetairoa McMillan and Jalen Coker. So Bryce has to hit on those throws. In every game that the improbable game that the Panthers have won, he's hit on a few of those. It's going to have to happen in this one on top of an efficient running game.
Yeah, I do think the McMillan versus Witherspoon matchup is interesting. Witherspoon always gives me a little hesitation because you can get over the top on him a couple times.
Yeah.
Will Bryce throw it?
Let's take a look at our picks here. Maybe this doesn't come as a surprise.
It's got to be a gong,
Yeah. We're all on the Rams.
This is fine.
But I have news. Did we actually break the NFL live curse this season? Okay, guys, check this out. Chris, bring up the graphic. We were 31, 23, and 1 on the year when we all picked the same way on a game.
That's
How
not
about
bad.
that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Swagoo, what are
We
your
got jobs
thoughts?
with that record.
What do you think about that, Swagoo? That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
That's
I think
right.
that's absolutely wonderful, and I think we need to stop making so much about picking the same team. Hell, that's who we think gonna win the damn games.
Also, too, guys, I just want to say this. You guys are the brightest football minds I know. The fact that we all agreed 23 times and that team lost is scary.
That is bad. And then there's the one. You're right.
Who's the
You're
one?
right. Glass half empty right
Yeah.
there. We were all completely wrong. 23 times this
Yeah, like all us.
This is Foreshadow Friday. We got Dan and RC at the touchscreen. Everything you need to know about that Texans offense heading into the Monday night matchup. Limelight is brought to you by Corona. La Playa awaits.